warm welcome to this Sapphire session with the topic Learn how INDEX Group, a world-leading manufacturer of CNC turning machines, is expanding its machine business online. My name is Adrian Langlois, and I'm a solution architect for digitization at SAP in Germany, and will be your host for the next 30 minutes. But now I would like to welcome our speaker from INDEX Group, Harald Kleiber. Harald is a board member and responsible for finance, HR, and IT. So Harald, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Adrian. So also warm welcome from my side, and it's quite an honor to speak today and present what we've actually done over the last couple of years in the INDEX Group in terms of digitization. As a matter of fact, not for the purpose of digitization itself, but rather to building an additional business around our core. And that's something I'd like to share with you within the next roughly 20 minutes, to still leave a couple of minutes for Q&As. And we try to answer a couple of questions straight away, and all the others will be answered afterwards. So if we do not answer them during the session, you'll get your answer at a later point in time. Let me share a couple of slides which will guide us through the topic. As Adrian said, we called it Learn How INDEX Expanded Its Machine Business Online. So allow me to spend a minute to tell you a little bit who INDEX or the INDEX Group actually is. We're pretty small company, so some of you might not be really aware of who we are and what we do. So just let me give you a quick snapshot of the INDEX Group. So we've been founded more than 100 years ago by an entrepreneur in the southern part of Germany. Since 1990, our majority shareholding is with a charity foundation, which also underlines our long-term orientation and also our focus on sustainability. We're definitely a global player, so we have 7 production sites around the globe, and we're active in 80 countries. And to do so, we have 2,300 brand ambassadors on a global scale. And in the business year 2019, we generated top line revenue of just about 600 million, which has been a record year for the INDEX Group. Actually, we serve all industries, of course, quite a bit in automotive, but also general machine tooling, electronic, aero, and also medical is a quite growing field, which getting more and more importance. And just also to give you a feel what our hardware products are, I've just put some pictures on the bottom of the slide to give you an impression how our hardware products look like, because in the next couple of minutes we rather talk about our online offering, what we do in terms of digitization. So for that, what is the INDEX Group? Let me start where we actually started with our digital journey. Back in 2017, we had 2 major areas which came into our focus. So we've just went live with a new ERP. So that was the ECC based on HANA, just completed, just up and running. On the other hand, a lot of other backbone systems like our CRM, let's call it this way, or our online offer request system. I wouldn't call it an online shop. Both have been pretty much outdated from a technical, but also from a customer experience perspective. And we've just kicked off an PLM project in order to also move towards the vision of a digital twin. As a second pocket, of course, since we're in the machine tool industry and we are also pretty much in production, actually all the topics around IoT, Industry 4.0 and smart factory have also been an ultimate chance for us. And we said, okay, if we have these challenges and these bucket of things which we have to tackle, we need to look at the whole thing, at our digital journey, in a pretty much holistic way. And if I mean holistic, and it might sound a little bit academic, but for us, it has been extremely important to start on that pretty high level. And what we've done first is really that we developed our vision. So what would we like to achieve with the elements which we have shown here in our starting point? So, and that it's pretty busy slide. I'm sorry for that, but that actually explains very well what has been our vision from the beginning of our digital journey. So on the right hand side, you see the index processes. So that is very much what I have talked about with the internal processes, with our backbone systems, the CRM, the PLM, the ERP. So a very interconnected backbone of our own processes. And on the other hand, we have our customers' processes. And in a world of digitization, actually, we have to make sure that our cooperation, collaboration, and as such, because all work is in the end underpinned by processes, so we rather talk about processes, we said in the end what we need to achieve is that we have to build up a kind of a digital interface between our processes, our backbone systems, and the customer processes. So on the right-hand side, this is something we have under our own control. So we need a very solid and very robust backbone underneath that customer interface. And then it's a highly flexible interface. So because in the end, it has to be customer's choice in what depth he actually wants to integrate his own processes into our processes. So be it just via a web browser, is it a complete integration of an ERP or manufacturing execution system on the customer side? Is it just the connection of a machine to, in the end, create transparency on the shop floor? And of course, potentially connecting to the interface via other tools, so with a data goggle or something like that. So that has been our ultimate vision, that we would like to create the index world of digital integration, which means an interface between our processes and our customers' processes to integrate that pretty seamlessly. And since the customer and index integration is the main focus, nevertheless, you also see a slight wing on the bottom from the beginning, because when we talk about platform, it always is or has been built in a way that we said, of course, we start on our own, but in the end, in order to scale it up, we also would like to have the opportunity that further partners join us in multiple ways, and I will come to that later on once again. So a highly flexible and scalable platform and digital integration interface. That has been the vision, and to bring that vision alive, first of all, we defined a name for that vision. And what we actually said is, what we build, these digital, this world of digital integration, this is our XWorld with a couple of different things. So the XWorld has been from the beginning the name for this interface. So, and when we started with that, it was also a big question, with whom do we actually implement this? So who has experience with that? What do we have on a partner scale? And this is why, first of all, of course, we went to the market with that vision in order to see what is the feedback, more or less, from an implementation perspective. And before we move to the architecture, maybe the first question, because Adrian, and that's a good thing that he's also the moderator for today. He has been part of that journey from the very beginning. And just a quick snapshot. So, what was your first thought when we actually approached you with that holistic vision?
When we started this journey 4 years ago, the approach was fairly new in the industry. I think you were definitely one of the market leaders for envisioning these new service digitization and leveraging the service portal and the web shop with SAP Commerce, capturing and storing machine data with IoT, digital twin and the Asset Intelligence Network, and building data-driven customer apps with the SAP Business Technology Platform. At that time, that was not a common architecture that we have been using at many customers. So it was fairly new as an end-to-end approach for enabling new service business models, and always obviously with the ultimate goal to generate new service revenues. But meanwhile, the approach that INDEX took has really turned into a reference architecture for digital customer service that many other customers at SAP have embraced.
Thank you. And as you mentioned, I think now the participants are also quite interested how the architecture actually looks like. And therefore, I'd like to move to the next slide and guide you quickly through that, that architecture, which we build up in order to move closer to the vision I just described. So on the bottom, and this is actually where it starts. So this is our ERP. So we started off, as I said, in 2017 with the ECC, but already on a HANA database. Also pretty important because we also talk about services, the CS module for the service business, which is still in place. Then let me continue on the left-hand side. So we had the Sales Cloud as CRM. So to make sure that we also generate an 360 view of our customers, not only for our own sake, but also to provide the customers the best possible service. And then also the Commerce Cloud for our shop on the right-hand side. And that's more the core of our X40, so the real IoT services we provide on our platform. So first of all, the SAP IoT or Internet of Things, which actually is a kind of a reference architecture with integrated services for the development of applications, of apps and to implement use cases. And typically as an integral part of this SAP Internet of Things, you also have the application enablement, which is also a pretty important part of it. The second element, which is pretty important to structure actually the assets you have under supervision or for which you would like to create transparency. So the SAP Asset Intelligence Network, that has been a pretty important element of the complete setup, because that's a central data asset data repository, which is independent of you actually connect your machine to the cloud, or if you just use it as a repository for your asset to structure your plans, which also enables you to administer maintenance for all kind of assets. This is not only related to index machines, but actually it helps our customers to structure the complete shop floor and the surrounding value creation. So therefore, a pretty important part as a kind of structuring element for all the services we build around it. And then, of course, the SAP integration suite, which brings all the parts in the end together in the cloud. And last but not least, as a kind of an umbrella and as user interface, so what actually our customers experience, this is the XWorld. And the XWorld itself is a platform where our customers seamlessly use all the elements and all the functionalities provided by the architecture I've just described. So our customers, they move inside of the XWorld. They do not care whether they are now in the Commerce Cloud or if an information comes out of the ERP, if they work in the AEN and so on. So that's completely gone because it's seamlessly integrated with an complete and very consistent user interface for our customers. So, but actually, what is now the XWorld itself? So let me tell you a couple of customer benefits, because in the end, we want to create a value add for our customers, because only then actually we generate additional business. And let me start with the shop and with our X services. So there the headline actually could be, this is all about run. Everything our customers need to run their machine shop 24/7, because production capital needs to be used. And this is something we want to ensure also here with the services and the shop. And as you can see within the shop, and that's an example for integrating partners in the shop, we also have a very close cooperation with other suppliers to make sure it is a real one-stop shop. So what do our customers experience actually within the shop? So the customer experience is exactly the same as in a B2C shop, be it from accessing it, being from the checkout. So all the elements, we really utilized what we know from B2C shops to create our own B2B shop on that level. So currently we have more than 130,000 articles ready to buy in the shop, a very smart search functionality. So not only our material number, but also the supplier material number and so on. So all elements which make shopping very convenient. Also holistic product information using 3D models. We'll also provide our customers with the possibility to initiate a repair process for major parts of the machines, which you do not just exchange, but you really repair. As I mentioned, an integration even into the ERP of the customer to use also their own digital workflows in the purchasing or service process. The service ticketing, of course, and all the follow-ups are provided within the systems. So no need to contact the hotline. So you're informed automatically about the status of your ticket, when the service tag will appear on site and so on. And also an example with the remote services, we even created beside the possibility to use all portable devices for remote services, we also have an X-Lens, which sounds a bit more sexy than the others. But again, flexibility. We must make sure that it's customer's choice how he would like to integrate with our processes. And of course, online training for knowledge build-up at customer side is also part of that. When we move to the XWorld itself, so looking at our X40, there actually it's all about connect for efficiency. In the end, we create transparency for our customers, a transparency they've never had at a central point of information. They had this information on a machine level directly at the machine, but not cumulative or consolidated on a central level. So the organization of the shop floor also having available at multiple points of interest. Of course, the connection of the machines, that's also a step into the digitalization. In the end, having this information, having this transparency is also a precondition to getting more efficient and to implement further Industry 4.0 solutions. We are using standards, so it's also very simple, and we have a couple of solutions to even connect machines or products from other suppliers, so that you really have one platform, one transparent point of truth. Yeah, and in the end, it's all about turning data into insights, and that's definitely something we're working on, to bringing the transparency now also to executable information, and even more to come to a point where even we come to more even self-controlled and self-correcting systems. But that's of course a point at a later point in time. To sum up, of course, it has been a pretty fast ride over the last couple of years. It has not been an easy way, but nevertheless, I think there are a couple of elements which we believe, I would not say they must be true for everyone, but we say at Index, they helped us in order to achieve the level where we are today. So we clearly started with a vision, but we did not stop at the vision, but we really made sure to come back to the base and said, yes, we need to be quick, but we have to do it step by step. Really a stepwise approach, not moving too far. Of course, you always have a vision, and that's the most important, but your single steps don't have to be too broad or too wide, because otherwise you're not going to succeed. Don't get defocused, because there are a lot of ideas around that, and as soon as you start with that journey, of course you are overwhelmed with ideas and with inputs from various sources. So therefore you need to stay focused. That's pretty important. Then also, don't wait for things to come. Really use what's already available, because a lot of peers talk about, yeah, we could do this if we would have this. Why? We have already a lot on our table. Let's start with what we have. That's already a hell to work with, and something where you can have first successes. Of course, if you look at the architecture, also we learned it the hard way. It looks and sounds very integrated, but on the way to where we are today, there's still a lot to be done. Definitely you need partners. You need partners who share your vision. And Adrian mentioned that earlier. Of course, they also did not know the perfect solution at the beginning, but you have to start, you have to build up trust, and then go towards the vision. Because if you're convinced on the vision, then of course you work towards that joint goal, and that's pretty important, and work very well in our line. And I leave it up to you if it's a good or a bad conclusion. I'm pretty sure you, and definitely we, will never reach the finish line, because what I've shown in the last couple of minutes is an ongoing journey. It will be changing all the time. So we have achieved a certain level, but it's easy to become a champion, but it's much harder to stay at the top of the table. And yeah, that's our goal for the years to come. Thank you very much for listening. And now I think we move into the Q&A session with Adrian.
Yes, thanks, Harald. Well done. So I think there's one question. How will you handle the future upgrade to S4 when S4HANA service will replace CS in ECC, customer service in ECC?
Yep. Yeah. So that's a very good point. So for us, it's pretty clear that most likely we will first of all move from the CS to the S4 service before we do the move with the ERP system, because actually it has been initially planned to move to C4S, as it was called at that point in time, at the same point in time as we moved to the customer cloud, but as a matter of fact, a couple of functionalities have not been available while we remained with the CS. But yes, we will move both elements in a joint manner, and most likely, first of all, the service module, and then afterwards the S4 ERP.
Mm-hmm. And then another question, obviously there are many digital apps involved in your XWorld platform. Did you have the expertise to build these apps on your own, or did you have help for that?
Actually, we did have help, but there are always two elements. So we clearly said we have the domain knowledge. So in the end, the content and the outcome is clearly defined by us. We started also with a partner to develop the apps, and over time we also started to build up own competence, because as always, if you work with partners, just to work efficiently and effectively with partners, you also need to build up own knowledge. And meanwhile, we have also our own competence in-house to build apps, but we are still utilizing partners. But yeah, this is an hybrid approach, and we started off with a pure outsourced approach.
If no further questions, so I would like to resume the session. Thank you very much for attending it. And also a big thank you goes to Harald Kleiber for providing very interesting insights into this important digitization initiative at INDEX Group. So goodbye, everybody, and have a good day.